Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. By the video title, you know what this video is about. A lot of more free agent stuff, of course. Yesterday I uploaded a video that day, but I'm back now, full effect. So we have the NFL free agency news, a lot of different things happening. Of course, we just seen that the Jets will be releasing Aaron Rodgers later today, and they were taking on a $49 million dead money hit for the cap. So Aaron Rodgers will be a free agent today. And those two teams that's gunning for him, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Giants. The Steelers have to be the team that get him. You have to get him because you lost out on Justin Fields a little bit because they said that you offered him a contract but it wasn't as high as the Jets offer, and then you also lost out on Sam Darnold, of course, as well. So you offered him a contract but it wasn't as high as he also offered. And plus, Sam Darnold wanted to go there. They had Clint Kubiak, he played with him. And he was passing game coordinator and offensive assistant on the 49ers team. He was there, and he kind of run the same similar schemes. You know, Kevin O'Connell, that tree run a similar scheme, so it helps him to, transition better to play with him and stuff as well. And plus, they offer more money, of course. So you missed out on those two individuals already. So now you're looking at it like Aaron Rodgers is your last bet. He said he want to play 2 more years. That's one of the reports to say that he want to play 2 more years. Rodgers, we know, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, one of the best. 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, one of the best throws of the football, one of the best touchdowns and interception ratios. I think he's 7th all time in passing yards, of course. Phenomenal player, first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. But at this stage of his career, he's a little different. Now, last year he didn't play too bad. You look at his numbers stat-wise, 3,800 passing yards, and he threw he had like 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, something around that range. I can't be mistaken, but I know he had a pretty solid ratio. His passer rate was 90, nothing too spectacular, but still good enough to help you win, especially if you have a good defense and some good pieces around, of course. The Steelers have DK Metcalf, they got GP, physical receivers on the outside. They have, of course, a solid O-line, of course. They also have a good defense, a great defense as well. Coach Tomlin there as well, so we'll see how things kind of transpire. The Steelers have to find a way to get the deal done. I can't believe I'm saying this as a Steeler fan. Aaron Rodgers here. Now, a few years back, I would have taken Aaron Rodgers here. Remember, a few years back when Aaron Rodgers was with the Packers and they were looking to trade him, and people were saying, "Oh, the Steelers should make a trade for Aaron Rodgers." I would have took him definitely a few years back. Now a little differently, but he might be our only option because there's not really too many people out there in the market to bring in. So Aaron Rodgers might be the only option for the Pittsburgh Steelers to bring in to keep them going a little bit, to be at least somewhat competitive in some sense. I know some people said Russell Wilson. Russ would have probably been signed already. The Steelers wanted to really bring him back. He probably been signed already. So I think Russell Wilson might be somewhere else. But that's the top options for Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers and the Giants. The Giants want to bring in a quarterback, probably make it easier to transition from a young QB, because you might draft a young QB probably still as well high up, but let him sit behind a veteran like Aaron Rodgers for maybe a year or two and then see how things transpire. But we'll have to wait and see. I was surprised yesterday though, free agency. It wasn't a free agent move, but it was an off-season move. Larry Tunsil getting traded from the Texans to the Commanders. I was surprised by that. Larry Tunsil doing a pretty good job at being the focal point of their offensive line, a top pick they drafted and went out there and played well and stuff. I was surprised to see him get traded away. I don't know what happened with the situation fully, but Larry Tunsil getting traded to the Texans, and we also seen C.J. Gardner-Johnson get traded from the Eagles as well, like that. So we see him get traded away and some different individuals. Joey Bosa just signed a contract, I think, with the Bills yesterday as well, signed a 1-year deal. Joey Bosa is very talented, but he's very injury prone. So, but he signed a 1-year deal with the Bills. The Bills, they're moving on from Von Miller, so you have a guy like Joey Bosa, bring him in. That'd be interesting to see what happens. The Chiefs did restructure Patrick Mahomes' deal as well. They restructured his deal and Chris Jones' deal to free up $50 million cap space, so we'll see what happens and stuff. DeAndre Hopkins signed with the Ravens. That's a nice signing. Hopkins hasn't been doing a lot, of course, lately. He's a future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Look at his numbers. His number compared to a lot of people's numbers. He's a multiple-time All-Pro as well, Pro Bowler as well. Had pretty good numbers and just played in the Super Bowl too as well. So I think Hopkins is a good player still. Might not be the level he once was, putting up 1,500 receiving yards, but he's a good player. I think definitely good enough to fit with the Ravens and their scheme. They're more of a run-first team, of course, with Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. Those guys will be the focal point and doing things close up. Utilizing tight ends like Isaiah Likely is going to take a big leap, probably even more bigger of a leap this year with Mark Andrews and stuff as well. Mark Andrews is a multiple-time. I think he's the first team All-Pro, I think twice. A very good tight end in Mark Andrews as well. So you have Isaiah Likely, a good tight end. You have a good tight end in Mark Andrews. Adding Jerry Hawkins, and then you have Zay Flowers still on the outside as well with Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. That's a nice little group of playmakers out there. The defense still pretty solid too. That's a nice little group of playmakers. So we'll see the Ravens definitely competing and shining as well. But also, just looking at a lot of different moves the teams been making. Teams been making some good moves. The Browns, I'm surprised to see them. They traded for Kenny Pickett. They got Kenny Pickett on their team now. So I guess he would be the focal point, their guy or something, temporarily, unless they draft a quarterback too. They could draft one because they have an opportunity to draft maybe Cam Ward if the Titans don't take him, or Shedeur Sanders like that as well. So we'll see if they draft a quarterback. Deshaun Watson is still on the roster, but he did re-rupture his Achilles, so he might not be able to play when the season starts. So we don't know what's going to happen fully with their team. The Bengals had to make a decision. Jamar Chase is a guy who's been available for them to re-sign the past few years like that, or give him an extension, I meant to say. Extension the past few years. Now, I feel like sometimes when you wait too long, it can cause the marketing, the kind of like the value to go up higher. Like if they would have signed him last year to a contract, it would have been less than what he is this past year. He was a Triple Crown winner this past year, so it's going to be even more money. It's like a guy is getting offered on his market value, he's actually for $25 million. But you're like, nah, I'm gonna hold off and see if he can do it again. Then he does it even better, and now it's $35 million. So just go ahead and pay the players early. Like I mentioned before on this channel, Belichick used to do it perfectly. You know, people say what they want by Belichick being a GM. He has some good picks, of course, the Tom Brady's and the Nikovic and the Vince Wilf folks, of course, and the Rob Gronkowski's. He has some good picks, of course, but he had more bad picks than good. But one thing he did a good job in paying players early. Paying them early, like year 2, 3-ish, right range to extend their contract. So it actually is a kind of a good deal to save money in the long run. But a lot of teams don't really, a lot of coaches be trying to hold off too long, like Jerry Jones with the Cowboys. You got Micah Parsons, you know, all that money, like you got to pay him as well. Then you got, you already paid Dak Prescott a crazy amount of money. Did they pay CeeDee Lamb yet? Did CeeDee Lamb get paid yet? I think he might be due for something too. Micah Parsons entering his 5th-year option, but we'll see. There's a lot of different scenarios. So sometimes you play a player early, you can kind of save yourself some money in the long run. So we'll see what the Bengals do with that. And also Trey Henderson, they asked him, they say he can go seek the trade. I'm like, a guy had 16 or 17 sacks the past 2 years straight. After dominating for you, your defense is already in shambles. You're gonna let the guy like that get traded away. And in the draft, you have to go out there and maybe draft every round. You have to draft probably a defensive player, whether it's a DB or an edge rusher or something like that, to get your defense back up to par. Because you're playing against, in the AFC North, against the Steelers, you're playing against the Ravens, you're playing against the Browns, and the Browns had their moments where they look a little sorry sometimes. They do still play very physical and stuff as well. So it was a very physical division. You want to have big bodies up front and be able to play some good defense. But we'll see what happens, of course. But it's a lot of different moves that have been going on, a lot of big trade moves and different signings and stuff that's happening. The NFL is shaking up. We're seeing a lot of people going different ways. Some teams trying to contend, some teams trying to stay at least competitive. Some teams are trying to free up space and money for a big move, maybe in future times. But we'll see what continues to happen. But that's all I have for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll probably be back today as well on this channel. I know I have an NBA video coming out probably today, and then some more NFL news, of course, because Aaron Rodgers might get signed tonight or something else might happen. So I'm gonna be on here later as well. So be on the lookout for that. But peace out.